Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino, and I'm happy to be here with you. I really am, but I have to admit, I'm freaking tired today. People, look, so it is Tuesday, August 30th, 2022. You know, honestly, it just keeps getting more freaky. I want you to pay attention to a statement that was made by Fed President Barkin. Just let me know what you think about this one here. He is warning of inflation aftershocks. Inflation aftershocks. So how do you define that? Is this thing, because he's not human either, trying to tell you that inflation is over, but we're going to feel some kind of like aftershocks, like from an earthquake? Like, I don't get it. Or is inflation going to get worse here? I don't understand the comment. So what do you think about that? Fed President Barkin warns of inflation aftershocks. You know, let's just talk about yesterday real quick. We heard from the Bank of International Settlements. We heard from the International Mafia Fund, the IMF here, okay? Both warning of more inflation to come. So now we have the BIS, the IMF, and now you have Fed President Barkin warning of some kind of aftershocks. I don't get it. What do you make of that? It's important. Now, I want to cover this. I just, I'm laughing. So Jim Cramer, you know Jim Cramer here. He's saying that Fed President Jay Powell is very serious about taming inflation. Jim, no, it hasn't worked yet, Jim. So far at all, inflation continues to surge. Actually, it gets better than that. I don't know about you, Jim Cramer, or about anybody else that's following this blog. I think you would have to agree with me, but I went shopping recently. Everything is shrinking. Everything is continuing to shrink in size, but the prices are not getting any better. So what is this called? Shrinkflation. I'm laughing. I'm looking at this. I'm going, look at this. What are they doing here? They're trying to fool us to thinking that, inflation isn't so bad, although it is, but they're shrinking the size of everything. Oh, that's great. That's just fantastic. I don't know. It's just a freaking absolute nightmare. So what do you think of Jim Cramer here? His statement that he believes sincerely the Fed really, really wants to fight inflation, and he's deadly serious this time. This time he's serious. Jim, get with the program, bro. Stop with the freaking shilling bullshit. All right, now, this is a sad statement. I want to read this to you here. So U.S. mortgage lenders are going bankrupt. Why are they going bankrupt? Because mortgage demand is cratering. You know what I would do if I were you? I would ask Chuck. You know, Chuck Barone got a nice channel out there. He talks about what's going on in the real estate market all the time. I will place a link to Chuck's channel in the description of this video. He's a real estate guy. All right, he's a real estate expert. Go ask Chuck what he thinks about the mortgage lenders going bankrupt as mortgage demand craters. All right, so and tell Chuck that Greg sent you over there. Again, link in the description of this video. Anyway, let's back up a moment here. Let's try to cover this market. So what have we witnessed as of late? Well, and we're still seeing this. Okay, global bond yields are rising. I believe, maybe being naive here, that central banks are going to do more. All right. That has yet to play out here. Right now, the U.S. 10-year yield is 3.10. You know how important the 10-year yield is if you want to watch debt market action here. Okay, lovely. So right now, stock futures are higher across the board. Nothing dramatic, but higher nonetheless. You know, look, this market took a big hit on Friday when Powell opened up his pie hole and was sounding hawkish, and the Fed wants to do this, and we're really serious about fighting inflation. They created this monster. Why isn't anyone talking about that? Let me ask you that too, please. Comment. Why isn't anyone out here on the mainstream media, maybe there is some alternative media talking about it here, how the Federal Reserve had a 2% target on their inflation rate. They surpassed that by exponents. We're like 9%. Nobody is holding the Fed to account. No one, okay, except you and I. And now the Federal Reserve wants to try to fix the problem that they created? Explain that one to me as well, because I just don't get it. How are we, you and I, to trust this criminal organization that's in the Fed here, okay, that has gone out of its way to inflate along with other central banks, and now we're supposed to believe like Jim Cramer believes. Jim Cramer believes that the Fed is really serious about wanting to tame inflation, a problem that it created. Understand what I'm about to say. The world financial system, people, is run by central banks. Everything that goes wrong with the financial system, which is everything at this particular point, a multiple bubble environment, there's no price discovery mechanism behind a single asset anymore. A monster debt bubble, an economy, a global economy in collapse, okay? It's them. No one's holding them to account. But Jim Cramer really believes it this time, that they want to do something. You can't make this stuff up. I'm watching Bloomberg this morning, and they're talking about what the Fed's going to do on its next FOMC meeting. Oh, the Fed's going to raise 50 basis points. Oh, the Fed's going to raise 75 basis points. They really want to fight inflation this time. I don't understand what these people are talking about. Maybe you can explain this to me. Maybe you can let me in on the secret here. So the Fed's been raising rates. Duh. Okay. Everyone knows that. Raising the overnight rate, which you and I knew from day one wouldn't do a damn thing. Okay, that's what central banks are doing around the world. It's not helping. Okay, so that's a fact. Okay, can't be denied. But you got these freaks out here believing that if we continue to do the same damn thing, it's going to make a difference. It really is. We're finally going to see it. Are you kidding me? Are you... Oh, God, I'm starting to melt down. You're kidding me. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Anyway. So, as I said, this morning, 10-year yield 3.10. What's going to happen today? Are we going to see the 10-year yield rise, or are we actually going to see the Fed finally get in here and buy more debt, which is going to push that 10-year yield lower, give the signal to the market that, okay, all is good here, because clearly, as you and I are sitting here talking right now, the debt market is showing signs of instability, and that is the key to this entire thing. Are they about to let it melt down? I still say no. And most of you agree with me here. The Fed is not done buying assets. You have to understand, what is the goal? What is the goal? You know what the goal is. If you've been following this blog, to be the lender and buyer of last resort. That's what the Fed wants to do. That's what every central bank wants, to be the lender and buyer of last resort. What are they doing? They're creating slaves to the system. Slaves to the system. People that are more dependent on the system than ever. Why do you think things like debt forgiveness and people being pushed down to the lower rung of society so they can get some kind of government check? It's all about creating slaves to the system. People that will support the system. Okay, they want and they need people to support the new beast system, which is evolving right before our eyes. They don't want a free market. They don't want a free market economy. They don't want a booming economy. They want an economy that is struggling globally so they can create slaves to the system. Period. It's people just like you and I have discussed that for I don't know how freaking long here. Okay, you see how I've done this? Okay, two-tier society, extreme haves, extreme have-nots. A wipeout, an extinction event is occurring. The middle class is going away. Period. And that's just the way it is. Anyway, before this video gets too stupidly long, you got Bitcoin here, over 20,000. You got gold and silver under some pressure, despite the fact, I want you to think about what I'm going to tell you. Gold and silver right now are under pressure, despite the fact that the dollar is under pressure. Okay, gold and silver commodities in aggregate are priced in dollars. Okay, so weaker dollar, weaker gold and silver price, doesn't make any sense to me, but you know the game. You know how it's being played here. JP Morgan, none more so than JP Morgan's rigging the metals market via the derivative. Let them play their game, we'll play ours, because you and I are clear on the fact that global debt is going to continue to balloon By design, it has to do it. It can't stop. You see, this is another big secret that they can't tell anyone. Imagine, for example, seriously, President Imbecile, the last president, the one before him, any president at all, would tell people that, okay, listen, we can't balance a budget. We can't have a budget. We have to continue to create reasons to pull cash into the now from the future because that's what the debt-based economic model demands. Imagine we had a real president that would say that. Imagine that, really? I tell you, it's an incredible thing to see. So I want to hear from you. What do you make of this? Because I don't understand this comment. And honestly, if you answer one question today, this is the one I want to hear from you about. Fed President Barkin warning of inflation aftershocks. What does that mean to you? I really just don't understand it. And do you think Jim Cramer's right? Jim, look, we're going to hear from some people. Let's see what they say. Okay, Jim, you believe that Powell wants to really, really tame inflation. Let's see what people say. Because I don't think so, Jim. I think the Fed wants to continue to inflate because that's their goal. Period. Show me where I got that wrong, Jim Cramer. We know a lot of the same people, Jim. You can contact me. You can call me anytime. Anytime. Anyway, all right, people, look, that's the story. I'm out of here. And I will see all of you later to put this whole thing together. Have a great day.